Hello, everybody. Jerry here. I just want to jump on here really quick and talk about something that I've been thinking about, and it's time and space. I don't mean space as the planets up above, I mean space in the space that you're occupying. And I don't mean time as far as the clock or the calendar goes, I mean time as in where you are at the present moment. So, time is a funny thing because it seems like it changes how fast it goes depending on the space that you're occupying. So, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that if you were at a party, having fun, having some drinks, hanging out with your friends, then a half hour doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. It just goes because you're not paying attention to it. You're in your comfort zone, your subconscious mind is happy, your conscious mind is happy, your ego is happy, and everything's happy. You're in alignment. There's no conflict at all. But for me, I'm going to speak for me. I just got back from the gym. I did some cardio and I'm on a treadmill. I do the treadmill for 30 minutes. So I love doing it. I anticipate it. I go there. But as soon as I step on that treadmill and I see that timer counting down 30 minutes, it's like 30 minutes seems like forever. Especially the fact that I go at a high speed and I do the incline and all this stuff so I can maximize that 30 minutes within that time and space that I'm in. So it's like 30 minutes on the treadmill is a lot different than 30 minutes on hanging out at a party having fun. You get that? So there's sort of like a little bit of conflict there, inner conflict. My subconsciously, I'm sorry, consciously, I have my goal. I'm trying to get in better shape so I can fulfill my mission of backpacking the Adirondacks as a 60-year-old amputee. That's why I go. That's the reason. That's the goal. That's the vision. That's what gets me motivated to step on a treadmill, push the buttons, push the mode, and for 30 minutes, I'm on that treadmill. There's unconscious, the unconscious that's trying to convince me that this isn't necessary. It's trying to get me out of my comfort zone or keep me in my comfort zone. And it's whispers. It's very deceitful. It whispers. It whispers things like, maybe shorten it or do it tomorrow or do it later or you can come back. Trying to suck me into that comfort zone, the devouring mother trying to protect me. That is the job of your unconscious, to protect you, to seek danger, to keep you in your comfort zone. The job of your conscious brain is to seek adventure, is to find the path not of least resistance, but the path of resistance and obtainment of your goal. So, in order for me to get in the top physical condition that I can, is by staying on a treadmill and overpowering the voices that are telling me to get off. So, what I do when I'm on the treadmill, I envision myself on the trail, backpacking on the trail, and that's what I'm doing because your unconscious does not know what is real and what is not. It knows what you're thinking. The messages that we're sending to our subconscious is what is it's going to manifest. It's going to realize that through repetition, through habit, that what you're doing goes from uncomfort to comfort, from chaos to order. So constantly doing a treadmill and envisioning myself on the trail, that's all my subconscious sees is me on a trail because that's what I'm imagining it. So my subconscious mind is is transferring what it's trying to protect me from into something that's an obtainable goal, and these little micro goals. So that's that. So the Alexa's talking to me, I don't know why. I don't know if you heard that, but um, anyway, so thank you, Alex. You moved my train of thought. So it's like I was thinking about this, and it's sort of like the definition of an automobile accident or an accident, a conflict, is two objects trying to occupy the same space at the same time. So that's what an automobile accident is. You got two vehicles in one area of space. If two vehicles try to occupy that space at the same time, that's a conflict. They're going to crash. You don't want that, obviously. That's the same thing with your conscious and unconscious mind. Your 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 conscious mind, you're trying to better yourself by pulling yourself out of your comfort zone and doing what's uncomfortable so you can obtain that goal. Your subconscious mind is taking this action and trying to pull you from it to protect you. So two conflicts are trying to occupy the same space at the same time. And the only thing that's going to override that and make the unconscious conscious is discipline. You got to discipline yourself to keep going. Stoically, a stoic philosophy, what's in the way is the way. That which you seek will be found where you least want to look. And until you make the unconscious conscious, it will dictate your life and you will call it fate. So by making the unconscious conscious, you override that voice of knowing what you have to do, and then the voice trying to protect you, to pull you back into your comfort zone, to talk you into doing what's more comfortable. Now, for some people, that might be overeating, it might be drugs, it might be pornography, it might be television, it might be scrolling on the screens, it might be who knows what. But that's going to be the comfort zone. And it's like what is it that, so for somebody like me who weighed almost 400 pounds 4 years ago, would be in the grocery store and filling that shopping cart up with stuff that I know is not good for me. And I'm looking at this stuff, knowing it's not good to me, force a habit, taking all this stuff, throwing it into the shopping cart, taking it home, and having a delusion that I am going to eat this stuff responsibly. The two containers of ice cream I bought, I'm only going to have a little bit at a time. I'm not going to eat the whole thing. This will be my reward for doing a good job. That's what I'm telling myself. And subconsciously, I'm because I have not made this subconscious conscious and it's dictating my life. I am grabbing what's bad for me, putting it in my cart, taking it home, and my habit was to overeat, was to keep eating it. That's why I became a diabetic. That's why I became 400 pounds. That's why I had ulcers, osteomyelitis, MRSA, bacterial infections on my lower limbs. That's why I'm an amputee. That's why I had Charcot disease on my left ankle. I've had 15 surgeries about between both lower limbs, and I almost died. And it's confronting what's hidden. It's confronting what's hidden. That which you seek will be found where you least want to look. I did not want to look at what was going on inside. I wanted to keep doing what was comfortable. And until I started to confront what was inside of me, until I started to confront the shadow, the parts of me that are hidden, the parts of me that I kept hidden, the parts of me that was molested by my uncle, the parts of me I was suppressing, the parts of me that I was ashamed to show the world. And then once I started to confront the shadow, once I started to make the unconscious conscious, everything changed. And one of the amazing things that Carl Jung said, it's a privilege of a lifetime to find your true self. Think about that. It's the privilege of a lifetime is to find your true self, who you really are. And you do that by speaking the truth, what you know to be true, to speak the truth, no matter what it is. And once I started doing that, then everything changed. Right now, I weigh about 250 pounds. I want to get down to 225 pounds by June. I don't know why I picked June 20th for some reason. So 225 pounds. That was my high school weight. And I will get there. I have a lot of goals that I'm working on, but you got to find out what it is. You got to have an aim. You got to have a goal. You got to have something you're shooting for. And then that's what will keep you doing the little things, like for me, keeping me on the treadmill, keeping me on the exercise machines, keeping me in the gym, keeping me writing my book, keeping me building my website, keeping me making mistakes, screwing up, but learning from them. Keeps me in that zone. And sometimes I'm doing something, I know I'm doing it wrong. I know I'm doing it wrong, but I'm also learning as I go along. There's lessons in the mistakes, there's lessons in the failure. And if you're not willing to fail, then that means you're not willing to try. If you're not willing to try, then you would be defined as a nihilist. Nihilist. You're nihilistic. You stay in your comfort zone and you're a do nothing. So that's the reality of it, and that's who I was. So that's why I'm trying to um, just start small, and that's it. Find your path through your aim. All right, that's it. God bless. Thank you so much, and until next time, like, follow, and please comment and all that. All right, love you. Bye.